in the town of Bogo, the island of Cebu, Philippines. He was in the middle of the pack among 9 siblings, sharing a lively and full musical home with his 5 sisters, Leah, Lagrimas, Ida, Thelma, and Amelia, and his 3 brothers, Romeo, Jesus, and Victor. He attended Naga Elementary and Naga Provincial High School. When it was time for college, Tito Dudong ventured to Manila and studied at the San Sebastian College, where he received his law degree. After successfully passing the bar exam, he returned to Cebu. He landed his first job with the Visayan Electric Company. He then worked for the Bureau of Internal Revenue as a collection agent. Thereafter, he was an adjudicator for the GSIS, Government Service Assurance System. He was then appointed a position with the Register of Deeds, where he worked for 14 years. He was regional director and was on deck to become a commissioner when he and Tita Deli made their move to the United States. In the U.S., he worked for the state funds in San Francisco, then with the Workers' Compensation Fund in San Jose, and ultimately transferred to Sacramento, where he worked until his retirement in 2005. Tito Dudong and Tita Deli were childhood friends. They were neighbors, and as they were growing up, they often played together, along with the other children in the neighborhood. After a very, very long courtship, by any standard, they married in 1960. They were blessed with the arrival of Al, and then Lou, and then Tin. Their family grew larger with the addition of their children's spouses, 9 grandchildren, and now a great-granddaughter. All of us are here today, and we knew a man who exemplified so many virtues. Among the many Tito Dudong possessed are honesty, integrity, compassion, patience, and perseverance. That's quite a handful, but he exemplified them all. He was also a subtle disciplinarian. When the kids were young, he would pick them up from school until it was over. One day, Lou was so engrossed with playing that he lost track of time. By the time he got to the gate, his dad was no longer there. He had left without him. For Lou, what seemed like a harsh lesson served well to remind him to always be on time. When Lou graduated, he received a memorable gift from his dad, a Zippo lighter. Lou was shocked because he thought that he had hidden well his vice. But his father knew all along, and he told him it was not good for him. Yet another subtle reminder, subtle discipline. He was encouraging and nurturing. Gin remembers a time when there was a public transportation strike, and the only way to get home was to walk 11 kilometers, about 7 miles, a daunting distance to a young child. But Tito Dudong kept on encouraging Gin to keep going, telling her every so often, "Kamay na lang, kapit na. Just a little bit more, almost there." What was memorable to Gin was how Tito Dudong made the long walk bearable and fun. With the stops they made at the calendarias, the roadside eateries, Tito Dudong would tell her of something really good to eat at each stop, so she looked forward to more walking. On honesty and integrity, Tito Dudong took pride in being honest and in his integrity. When you talk with any member of his family or with his friends, these resonate as among the most valuable virtues he imparted. When he took office with the Register of Deeds, there was opportunity for personal gains from providing favors to those who asked or those who paid. But Tito Dudong believed in an office run with integrity. That meant the registrations are processed in the order they are received, not based on favors or undue influence. While this did not make those who were used to being able to ask for favors happy, Tito Dudong was steadfast in maintaining his integrity, and he did not waver. He instilled the same level of integrity in his staff. He was a steady guide and a moral support for his children. Gin fondly remembers how her dad took her aside and told her he loved her and accepted her for all she is, everything that she is. Al remembers one of his dad's parenting advice: anger gets you nowhere. Children need our love, not our anger. Lou remembers how his dad instilled obedience in him. He told him, obey first before you complain. And his family appreciated how he provided for them. He did not want his children to be wanting or deprived, yet he did not want them to live beyond their means or to be spoiled. On compassion, when Al was in second grade, he competed in a quiz bowl. He was confident he would do well, so he asked his dad to watch him compete. Al was excited when he saw his father come into the auditorium, and he was determined to win, make him proud. He knew the answer to every question, but then he raised his flag a little too early, and by the rules was disqualified from answering. He lost by a point. He took second place. Tito Dudong got up, looked at Al, and left the auditorium. Al was crestfallen. He had disappointed his father. At the end of the day, Tito Dudong picked him up from school, took him aside, and told him he was proud of him, and that in his heart, Al was the true winner. He made everyone feel special. Tito Dudong enjoyed nothing more than spending time with his family. In his visits to Cebu, we would find him in bed with all of his grandchildren. On a personal note, Tito Dudong and I shared a kinship of sort. He loved to play the piano, a passion he shared with his siblings and with my father. At one of the get-togethers at my sister's house, he started playing old standards. I sidled up next to him and started to sing. He was surprised that I knew the lyrics, but I think he also was surprised at how I sang, because I cannot sing. Yet, whenever we were at parties together, we were a duo. He played, I sang. I realized it must have been painful to hear me sing, but Tito Dudong made me feel like a diva, like I have the most beautiful voice in the world. He looked past what I was not and rather acknowledged what I wanted to be. His faith was strong. Tito Dudong's faith in God was very strong. He prayed every day and praised God for the blessings he received. He embraced every new day eagerly. His illness did not make him less grateful, nor did it ever waver his faith. On patience and perseverance. If there is one story that demonstrates Tito Dudong's patience and perseverance, it would have to be that of his courtship with Tita Deli. Tito Dudong and Tita Deli's mothers were both teachers who taught at the same elementary school. As it turned out, Tita Deli was a student of Tito Dudong's mom, and conversely, Tito Dudong was a student of Tita Deli's mom. Their mothers were friends and would walk home from school together, and at some point they played matchmaker and decided that their children would marry each other one day. The children were young and oblivious to the matchmaking. But when they got to high school, Tito Dudong and Tita Deli became classmates, and matchmaking or not, Tito Dudong started eyeing her. They were 17 then. So the courtship started with full parental endorsement, of course. She was not interested. She was focused on her studies and on achieving honors so she could earn scholarships to go to college, become a teacher. She wanted to help put her siblings through school. Tito Dudong kept asking, Tita Deli kept saying no. Tita Deli's resolve was as strong as Tito Dudong's, except that their resolve went in opposite directions. After high school graduation, they both continued on to college. Tito Dodong in Manila, and Tita Deli in Cebu. Throughout the college years, Tito Dodong would send letters to Tita Deli. Some he mailed, some even hand-delivered by his father. But Tita Deli wanted to stay focused on helping the family. Finally, after three tries in asking for her hand in marriage, and with a nudging of her family, Tita Deli finally relented. By now, they were 27 years old, 10 years of courtship. Tito Dodong said she was worth the wait. Bought her a shirt that says, "True love waits." Tita Deli dearly treasures the many years' worth of letters. Today, you can find them bundled up and neatly tied in a red bow. Tito Dodong adored his wife, and this adoration never stopped. Even through the last weeks of his life, when he woke up each morning, he would look at Tita Deli and say, "Nagwapa sa akong asawa, oy. How beautiful my wife is." Almost 52 years of marriage, and he saw you no different than from the very first day he fell in love with you. Tito Dodong was sharing his story with us a few months ago, and you could see the gleam in his eyes, and you know the intensity of that gleam was no less than it was than the days when he pursued a young Adele. You can see the bashful young man looking at the beautiful woman he adored. Tita, true to the words of your theme song, you were his everything, and he knew he was your everything. Your love and marriage spanning almost 52 years is admirable and enviable. Your love for each other overflowed, and there was more than enough with which to shower your growing family. Tito Dodong and Tita Deli shared a love that was deep, forged a bond that was very strong, nurtured a beautiful and wonderful family, created many memories, shared an ever-expanding circle of friends and a strong faith in God. Tita Deli, I pray that your memories of your life together, that your children and grandchildren and family and friends will carry you through this difficult time and help usher you to the better times yet to come. God has certainly blessed you and your family, and He blessed all of us too when He graced our lives with Vicente Dodong Colon.